Welcome back to the channel. So I have been posting like crazy about this Icosa and Hedron project, my strategy leading up to it, my strategy once it actually hit, now my returns, the fact that I am an Icosa whale by the contract, a definition of what a whale is. It's all been fun and great. I think I've been trying to say also within Icosa contract a lot of times. One of the reasons I was posting about this before it existed, the Icosa contract before it existed, was because you have the ability to get in on it early if you were unaware of it at the time, and there can be advantages for getting in projects early. Inflation and certain things like that tend to really weight getting in early, and it's just a common trend within crypto, and Icosa I see as no different. But one thing that is pretty cool about the Icosa contract as I see it is just because the contract is new and now the inflation and the interest given per the certain areas of the contract are lowering slowly over time, and maybe they'll spike again or whatever, the game is not over. There are pretty cool things to look forward to. One of those things that, as the contract is going forward now, a couple days into it, we're able to see some more specifics on some certain dynamics that I've been sharing with you guys and preparing for in the future. We can see some of those specifics and what they are, and I want to share that with you. Let's get into it here. So here is the Icosa contract. One of the specific dynamics that I've been looking at is this HSI buyback. People are giving their tokenized hex stakes to the Icosa contract in return for Icosa, which is exactly what I did. Put in enough of to get 12,164 Icosa. That's all great. You already know this. The Hedron stake, one of the reasons, and this is what I'm really trying to get to here, that I personally decided to keep my minimum stake days under 90, even though I had the ability to put more in here. I cut it off there at 90. Was because of what's going to happen to these HSIs that are sent to this Icosa contract. In 90 days, these HSIs are going to come back and they're going to show up here at Hedron.pro in the active liquidations, and we are going to be able to buy them using Hedron. And I wanted to make sure I was under 90 days because it's in 90 days that the first HSIs are going to come back here, and I wanted to be able to use my full force of Hedron if I so desired. Originally, I was saying I probably wouldn't use more than 25%. I am already reevaluating that, and I might use significantly more, but it really all depends. I will be watching as we get closer to this event, but I want to share some more specifics with you. If you're not aware that this is happening, be aware. Now you are aware. So just to quantify some things before I show you some specific numbers, how many active liquidations are going to be showing up here. Let's look to the past of Hedron. And as you can see, for example, right now, there are no active liquidations. The most active liquidations I have ever seen in here is one. I'm sure there's times when there's been more than that, but I think over time the average is less than one active HSI liquidation going on. So the history, there's not been very many of these. And as I said, of course, the only way to buy the hex that's going to be locked in here and the HSIs is with Hedron. But yeah, looking to the past, there's been very few active liquidations. But what are we going to have in 90 days thanks to the Icosa contract and the HSI buyback? Well, let me show you here. Basically, I went to stakehex.today, put in the Icosa contract address, and had it tell me how many stakes were given to it. Well, 3,264. This is roughly 2.5 days into the Icosa contract. There has already been 3,264 stakes, 21,000 T shares, 167 million hex worth roughly $9.9 million. And I believe I saw that on the first day, there was over 1,700 stakes given to the Hedron, given to the Icosa contract, given to the HSI buyback. So that means in 90 days from the beginning of the Icosa contract, there's going to be over 1,700 active liquidations. And people are basically going to be able to buy HEX with Hedron. And that HEX, that liquid HEX that's available at the time, is going to be divided between, just in the first day, over 1,700 HSIs. That is going to be a really interesting time. There's going to be a number of things that I'm still trying to think through, worth looking at and planning for and strategizing as this comes about. One of the questions I'm asking myself is, how heavy do I think people are going to go in on this that first day when there's over 1,700 liquidations in process? I have a feeling that they're probably going to go for a relatively competitive, probably going to be less Hedron per HEX ratio than there has been in the past, given that there's an overwhelming number relative to the past of actual active liquidations. I'm wondering if people are going to YOLO in on that first day. There's still going to be an impressive amount coming out, coming to this active liquidation pool on the second day, and maybe the second or the third day would be really the day to start buying when people have already used up a lot of their Hedron. Or maybe my normal approach is to not go extreme on any one particular thing. I'll probably, if for example I think the second or the third day is going to be the real advantage where the per Hedron price is really good, you can get a lot of HEX back. You can buy a lot of HSIs for the number of Hedron. If I think that's going to be the case, maybe I'll go really light on the first day, but I'll still do it just in case. And maybe I'll have some, multifaceted, less all-in approach on this, but I'm thinking through it. But anyway, I want you guys to be aware that there are a bunch of HSIs coming to the Hedron.pro liquidation pool in a couple months, and this is a new thing. It's going to really change a lot of stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how the Hedron price and the Icosa price, but how the Hedron price reacts leading up to this and during it. And it's going to be really interesting to see what the supply of Hedron is after even just the first day of these liquidations, where when people give their Hedron to this contract in return for those HSIs and the HEX associated with them, that Hedron's burned. It ends up showing back indirectly to these pools in Icosa, but it doesn't come back in Hedron. That Hedron is gone, and it's going to really lower the total supply of Hedron, I think, when that happens. So this will all be really interesting stuff. But I was really interested to see what the numbers are, and I want to share those with you. There's a lot of HSIs coming, and if you have a bunch of Hedron, then this is probably going to be really good for you. You'll have a chance to get a bunch of HEX, and I think all of us in the Hedron and Icosa ecosystem recognize, even for the Hedron and Icosa price, the HEX price matters. We value HEX, and I think this could be a chance to get some HEX back if you want to. If you're willing to give up your Hedron, you might be able to get some HEX back for it. And anyway, now you've seen the numbers as of today. This has been a pretty cool project to watch, and I'm having fun sharing things with you guys as I find out myself. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.